So I just woke up this morning to a phone call telling me that my friend attempted to commit suicide. So I want to kind of like make this video kind of like in a raw talk manner, because some of you may struggle with this issue. I know I've struggled with this issue before. And I know it can be hard sometimes, and you may feel lost in life if you don't have the proper protocol or the proper habits or the proper environment to combat all the negative impacts this society can have. I recently talked with a mentor of mine, and we were discussing about how it's important to every single day fight back the entropy of with the averageness in modern society, because you need to understand that modern society in of it itself is unhealthy, it's toxic. And if you don't have certain protocols in place to combat that, whether it's health-wise, mentally-wise, spiritually-wise, you're going to get fucked. And so in this video, quick one, I want to kind of like give you, from my perspective, because I'm huge into neuroscience, I've gone through the depression, I've gone through the suicidal thoughts, and today I'm the happiest I've ever been. I want to kind of like give you a rundown of what I think led to my friend attempting suicide, a bunch of different factors, but how you can also combat that. Because it was kind of like a wake-up call for me this morning, in the sense that I know a lot of you may struggle with that. Some days you're up, some days you're down. That's normal. But some of you may have the lowest lows. First and foremost, I'm going to describe the symptoms of what I think my friend did bad, because I did them, and that led me to these train of thoughts of taking my life back in the day. So first and foremost, my friend, this person, was, and kind of like is still very much in the routine, the 9 to 5 rat race routine. And I remember, for those of you who have been following me for a long time, my corporate job led me miserable, purposeless, and this is actually what led me to have a stroke at 23. Because I was so miserable and purposeless that I ended up drinking a bunch of alcohol, indulging in endless parties, and basically was purposeless. And I always kind of like pushed my body to its limits because of drugs. So I had a stroke at 23. This person obviously was, is stuck in the classical rat race, kind of like paradigm. You wake up, you go to work, you come back, you sleep, you wake up, you go to work, etc., etc. And we were not designed for the rat race. Our biological, energetical body is not meant for the rat race. Which is why most people that are in the rat race are deeply inside are depressed. A lot of them are under antidepressants. I've had a lot of very wealthy and very well-known doctors and physicians that I worked with as clients, and they came to see me and they were under antidepressants. So it's not because they have money, or it's not because they have success with the opposite gender, it's not because they have the status that they necessarily don't struggle with that. So that's the first thing. The first thing is that for those of you who don't resonate with a 9 to 5, you need to do everything in your power to build your own cash flow system. You need to build your own business. You need to get out of that, because it's really something that drains you. Obviously, if you resonate with this video, you see what I mean. That's number one. Number two, because of the lack of energy and the fact that this person was drained when the person came back home, that person indulged in what a lot of you guys are doing when you come back home: endless screens. And it's not productive screens. What I mean productive screens, it's not watching self-development videos or anything like that. No, it's watching some instant gratification, entertainment, and stuff like that. And the problem is, I'm going to tell you, I used to take, when I had a rest day per week, on Sunday I usually had a rest day. What I ended up doing back in the day, it was just being a couch potato and watching movies and watching screens all day. And then by the end of the day, I was absolutely depressed and miserable. Because these artificial lights literally kill your circadian rhythm and kill your hormonal balance. If you were watching, or if you were sun gazing, or if you were in the sun all day on a Sunday instead of in front of an artificial light, it would be completely different. So that's number one, artificial light. But number two as well, when you watch funny instant gratification videos, you're literally surging your brain with too much spikes of dopamine, and therefore you have the crash, right? Because your brain is a wonderful machine. It balances everything out for you to be able to function properly. So if you have too much dopamine at one point, your brain is going to naturally crash because it needs to balance it out because it's not normal. That was another aspect. Another aspect is that person tended to isolate themselves. And one of the 5 pillars of happiness is literally social connections. Social connections. And I'm going to tell you guys, for those of you who haven't had the chance to travel or have the time, money, location freedom yet, you'll realize soon enough that this world is not necessarily interesting because of its buildings, of its things, of its material stuff, of the supercars, of the luxury. No. This world, this planet Earth, this 3D reality, is only interesting because of the souls that inhabits it. That's it. The most interesting people are not, or the most interesting things on this planet are people, not material, lifeless stuff, even though we can argue that consciousness permeates everything and that everything is living, right? This car, for instance, is living. But you see what I mean? It's by interacting with higher levels of consciousness that you actually become happy. And that makes sense why people who pray, or people who are usually more spiritually healthy, they are happier as well, because they communicate whether unidimensionally, unidirectionally, or bidirectionally with their guardian angels, with higher dimensions, and they feel the universe speaking to them as well. That's why people who are spiritual and pray are usually less depressed and they're happier. And obviously this person had a tendency to eat the standard American diet, for those of you who are in America, but it's basically the same thing, right? It's a Western diet. So it's typical, right? Some greens, some carbs, some proteins. Sometimes that person didn't eat. And I've noticed for me myself as well, I've done a lot of different diets. I've never went full vegan, but I've done SAD, standard American diet, Western diet. I've done pescatarian. I've done keto. I've done carnivore. I've done animal-based. I've done raw. Right now I'm doing raw diet, raw meat diet. And that has a huge impact on your health as well. Hippocrates, the Greek physician that lived 2,500 years ago, which is literally the inspiration for the Hippocratic oath of all the doctors, that basically is given to all the doctors when they're judged capable of practicing their craft, and basically having an oath saying, I will never hurt anybody. Hippocrates said one famous quote, "Let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food." And the problem is most doctors, but that's another topic for another time, but problem of today's society is that most doctors have had less than 3 hours of nutritional course throughout their years of studies. So you see that there is a problem there. It's more of a hypocritical oath, but either way, that's a controversial take for another time. The point being, you need to take care of your body and your mind with a holistic approach. Not just the diet. The diet is huge. Because there's so much microplastics, there's so much heavy metals, there's so much free radicals that you're accumulating over the years by following the standard American diet, because our world today is toxic. What you could do 100 years ago by the time of our grandparents, that they have passed to our they have passed to our parents, and our parents have passed to us, doesn't work anymore. Because this world is much more toxic than it was 100 years ago. See what I mean? So you need to be able to combat all the toxins, all the toxicity of this modern world, diet-wise. That's why I'm going on a raw diet right now. And I'm doing some detox protocols. That's one part. The diet is so important. Another one, a lot of Americans, 85% of Americans are coffee users, coffee drinkers. I was a huge coffee drinker. And I've made an entire video about that. Now it's been 33 days that I haven't touched a coffee. And I've never felt more in control of my mood, of my emotions, but also of my life. And I've never felt happier than now. That could be a wake-up call for you guys as well. If you're feeling a bit low, if you're feeling a bit depressed, stop coffee. It overcharges your adrenal glands, producing too much cortisol, too much adrenaline, and then your body doesn't know what to properly do. And then it blocks adenosine receptors, making you sleepier and sleepier and sleepier, destroying your sleep. And sleep is one of the main pillars when it comes to mental health as well. Yeah, by the way, this person slept very poorly. So you see, we already have 3 of the 5 pillars of happiness that has an imbalance. Sleep was shit, diet wasn't good or not optimal, social connections wasn't there. And obviously, this person has financial stress. That's the 4th pillar of happiness, is having the possibility, the freedom, which is linked to money. If you acquire money in a way that allows you to have some time for yourself as well, you're happier. You're not happy if you sacrifice your health for money. And you're not happy if you get money in a way that is not aligned with your spirit and your soul. That comes from a guy that have had plenty or tried plenty of different business models before becoming a coach for high-level performers and entrepreneurs and millionaires. I tried a bunch of different things. I tried creating an app. I had video game servers that I made people pay for. I tried dropshipping, e-commerce, even OnlyFans management. All of those, I didn't feel like I was elevating humanity. I was profiting on the vices of people. That left me sad, depressed, and purposeless. And it was only when I worked on myself so much, and after my stroke at 23, that I became a fanatic on personal development, that I realized, there's more to life than just what we see in the physical eyes. And my goal is to elevate humanity. And from there on out, this is when I started to help people. And today, 5 years later, I'm mentoring people that I never thought I could mentor. Top performers, athletes, people who are becoming billionaires. But all of this to say, financial stress. Do everything in your power, not at the price of your health, obviously, but do everything in your power to generate more income. Most of you don't have an expense problem. Don't fucking listen to these gurus telling you, you need to save every penny. Yes, of course, you're not a dumbass. You need to budget, especially if you don't have a lot of means. But the reality of the game is that most of you have an income problem, not an expense problem. Your income is too low. So you need to increase your income. That's why I teach all my clients to do as well. Build a quantum business online that is scalable, that is aligned with your soul, that feels good, where you elevate humanity, where you know that you're having a positive impact on humanity, that you fuel with your high vibration, and it is directly proportionate to your own personal development. Just imagine, you could get paid to get better. That's literally what I teach all my clients. That's literally what I preach. So this person is well now. This person is at the hospital, but is well, and is going to be taken care of from now on. But it's important, guys, to understand that if you follow the societal programming, and I'm always telling you guys this, if you follow the masses, if you follow the 99% programming, the societal programming, you will end up depressed, you will end up miserable. Why? Because I've been through there. And I've seen too many of my friends not listening to my fucking words. when I told them that I was out of the system and it was the best thing that I've ever done. I was the most miserable, depressed when I was in the system, when I had a normal job, a corporate job, supposed to be good for my good grades, following the normal routine, waking up early to work for a job that doesn't even care about me. That left me purposeless, depressed, and I followed the societal programming in every way, in health, wealth, relationships. I ate the standard American diet, depressed, miserable. I followed the corporate 9-to-5 job, rat race, depressed, miserable. I had the same way of thinking as most men when they start off dating. It left me depressed and miserable. It's not the right way. I'm telling you guys. And nothing happens by accident. If you clicked on this video, it's because you resonate with that message. Because your subconscious mind and your intuition leads you to videos that have more depth than just the title and the thumbnail. Because you're much more than just an entity of flesh. You're a holographic incarnation of the divine consciousness. So you're much more than what you think you are. So, stop following the societal programming. I'm the happiest I've ever been by stopping following the societal programming. I've never been this happy. I've never been this calm, this serene in my life by going the absolute opposite of society. I don't eat the way society eats. I don't make my money the way most of society makes their money. I'm time, money, and location free. I don't think the same way about men-woman relationships like most guys do. And that's why I'm the happiest I've ever been about in that area. Guys, you need to realize that society is meant to keep you profitable, not healthy. You will never be healthy following societal programming. Why do you think that they give you medicine when you have to treat one symptom and then it creates a side effect for you to have another symptom where you need another medicine? Because you're a fucking sheep. You become a fucking profitable sheep. That's why. That's the truth. Even though you have an entire virtual signaling propaganda around the medical dogma, for instance. That's another topic for another video. But do you understand that this society is made not for you to be healthy and happy? Because if you're healthy and happy like me, you're not profitable for society. I don't need Tylenol. I don't need medicine, or what they call medicine. I don't need endless entertainment. I could live nearly on $0. Nearly. So society is not meant to keep you healthy and happy. It's meant to keep you profitable for them. This is why you need your own protocol, to go against the flow. You need to fight back this negative programming. Otherwise, you're going to end up like me back in the days, and like my friend just did. Fucking in the hospital with open wounds. And by the way, a spiritual lesson. For some of you guys who are feeling depressed and suicidal, this is a challenge that you need to transcend in this lifetime. Because when you die, you realize that you're eternal and immortal. That you're not just a body. You're much more than that. You're much more than that. That's why a lot of people have reported in NDEs and OBEs, out-of-body states, where they see their body and they realize, okay, death is actually not the end. I'm always existing. I'm just incarnating into different processes, different dimensions. And your soul wants to learn, experience, and grow. Meaning what? Meaning that if you don't transcend the suicidal thoughts and the depression in this lifetime, you'll have to transcend it in another lifetime. So might as well transcend it right now. Because the problems follow you around. It's not a problem of a location. It's a problem of consciousness. That's why we say heaven and hell are not locations. They're a state of consciousness. Because you could be in the most beautiful place on earth. And I've known these guys. I've coached them. I've mentored them. These guys who are living on the most beautiful villas and mansions on earth, yet their life is hell because it's an own self-perpetuating hell that they've created. And you can be the worst. I've known a lot of good friends as well that were not in the least favorable conditions, but yet they were living an existence of heaven because it's a state of consciousness. And for those of you who have made money, you know what I'm talking about. You realize that money is not the thing that is going to make you happy. That's normal, because anything outside of you can never make you happy the same way that your own divinity can. And realizing how connected to God and the infinite intelligence of the universe you actually are. So my final advice for those of you who are resonating with this message and feeling a bit down is analyze everything that you're doing during the day that follows what society tells you. Are you drinking coffee? Are you following the standard American diet? How much screen time are you having? And is it productive screen time? Because right now, for me, it's productive screen time. Right? I'm looking at my camera, I'm looking at my phone right now, but it's productive screen time. Are you watching porn? Are you destroying your dopaminic system? Are you surcharging your adrenal glands with coffee, like most people are? Are you smoking? Are you drinking? By the way, this person didn't smoke, didn't drink. So for those of you who are smoking and drinking already, you're worse off than this person. And by the way, this person, just to tell you, when you look at this person from the outside, it's a beautiful person, beautiful soul. It's a wonderful entity of flesh. It's a wonderful body. Very good looking person. You would never think, never, in a million years, that this person would be capable of doing so. Yet, that person did. Take care of yourself. In the order of priorities, take care first of your health and yourself. Then your business, because it's going to be your freedom vehicle. And then your relationships. Because you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you don't love yourself first, your relationship won't last. Whether it's business-wise or romantic-wise or friend-wise, whatever it is. Relationships are based on value exchange, whether we like it or not. The value could be monetary, obviously that's more transactional, but most of the time it's energetical. If you drain your friends constantly of their energy and you're not giving and inputting energy into them, obviously they're not going to be your friends long. So, and also would recommend making sure that you build yourself a habit of feeding and saturating your mind with positive thoughts, positive thinking, positive resources. This is what my YouTube channel is dedicated to do, is to help you in every single aspect, creating the next generation of millionaires successful in every single aspect. Because I'm sick and tired of seeing all these millionaires being fat and lazy or being cheated on by their wives or manipulated by women. And you know yourself, watching me in the eyes right now, you know that you're nowhere near your potential. You know you could be succeeding and excelling in every single aspect if you just had the right resource. Because there is this entire debate online saying, oh, you don't need more information, you need more execution. I don't agree. If you had the right information and it clicked in your mind, you had the right awareness, you would obviously see results. If you knew how to make $50 million tomorrow with a click of a button, would you do it? Of course, you would. So it's just a matter of awareness more than knowledge. How aware of the world are you truly about? That's it, guys. Take care of yourself. Life is a game. It is, truly. Don't treat it too seriously. Every challenges, big challenges that you've had in your life, pivotal moments, were decided by your soul. I could go on and on. I could lecture you guys for several hours on all of these the interconnectedness of the dimensions and the planes of existence. But it's not the topic of the video. Life is a video game. Never forget that. Don't be too serious. Okay? Obviously, this is a serious message for you guys to understand, but don't be too serious. Have fun. Have fun with life. And realize that you're nowhere near your potential, and you could be doing much better, and you could escape your miserable existence. You are the creator of your own life. You're a holographic incarnation of God. Therefore, you have the same infinite potential in, obviously, the boundaries and constraints of this 3D planet Earth reality. You have the same potentiality as the ultimate creator, aka God. Okay, never forget that. And this is when, if you have an NDE or OBE, or when you'll die, you'll realize that you're much more than just this limited physical entity. Treat life as a game. Love you all, guys. See you soon. Much love. And take care of yourself.